Greetings, Japan fans. Today's show, we're looking at some major dilemmas for us as leaders in Japan. Maishu, arigatou gozaimasu, and welcome back to the 10th year of the Leadership Japan series. And I'm your host in Tokyo, Dr. Greg Story, Dale Carnegie Tokyo franchise owner, president of Dale Carnegie Tokyo Training, and the 3-time best-selling author of Japan Sales Mastery, which is Zaegyo in Japanese, Japan Business Mastery, and Japan Presentations Mastery. My new book, Stop Wasting Money on Training in Japanese, Training de Okane o Mura ni suru no wa yamimashou, and all of my books are available on Amazon. This podcast brings insights, examples, and experience about leading in Japan. Trust me, it is different here. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with your family, friends, and colleagues. We are not being sponsored by Libsyn, but we value your privacy, which is why we have our podcast hosted by Libsyn. Unlike many other hosting organizations, Libsyn have a strict policy that does not allow access to your private information by anyone. Here is our daily podcast lineup on Apple Podcasts. Mondays, the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show podcast. Tuesday, the Presentation Japan series, and every second Tuesday, the Business Tatsujin no Oishia show. Wednesdays, the Sales Japan series. Thursdays, the Leadership Japan series, and every second Thursday, the Business Pro Podcasto show. Fridays, the Japan Business Mastery Show podcast. Saturdays, Japan's top business interviews. So today's handy Japanese phrase is a bit of a variation on the one we had last week. Last week I said, for may I bother you for a minute, I said, Ojikan itadakimasu ka? Ojikan itadakimasu ka? This week, an even simpler version, we just say, may I bother you? Chotto ii, chotto ii, chotto ii. So, if someone's doing something, you want to break in, interrupt them, you can say, Ojikan itadakimasu ka? Which is a bit more formal, even amongst friends, a bit more formal. Or just very, very simply, chotto ii, chotto ii, chotto ii. Can I bother you for a minute? Chotto ii, chotto ii. There you can see they're concentrating on something, but you need their attention. You don't give up. You just say, chotto ii, chotto ii, chotto ii. This is episode number 519. And today we're talking about empathy, underperformance management, and dealing with population decline as leaders in Japan. Does this candidate have a pulse? Yes? Then we need to hire them. Does this sound ridiculous? A fantasy? A dystopian snippet from the future? The Japanese government says that if we don't see a turnaround in the population decline before 2030, then the country will get tipped over the edge and into a decline from which it cannot easily recover. COVID wiped out the tourism and hospitality industries, and there are still difficulties in hiring people. A lot of workers decided these industries were too unstable and have quietly moved elsewhere and are not going back. If you need English speakers, then good luck, because they are in massive short supply. The Kishida Cabinet says they're going to encourage 150,000 young Japanese to get degrees overseas. This is up from the current 62,000 a year, and they want to achieve this increased target by 2033. This is good, and we need this program to work. But what do we do between now and 2033? Once upon a time, the foreign multinationals had this English-speaking market for themselves. Western-educated English speakers were a challenge for Japanese companies, as they had been exposed to foreign concepts and weren't as easy to manage as local staff. Things have changed. Japanese companies have to search beyond Japan for new and larger markets as Japan contracts, and the domestic growth prospects are meager. The problem with this approach is you need people you can send offshore to run the show, or you need people here who can deal with the enterprise staff located overseas. Now, these domestic but internationalizing companies are vying for the few English speakers. The move towards meritocracy, rather than the typical Nenko Joretsu escalator promotion system, has made domestic companies more tolerable. Mid-career hiring has also become more accepted, so this gradual increase in flexibility makes it easier for domestic companies to jostle for English speakers. We are moving to a free agent system of employ, where the candidates are interviewing the hiring staff rather than the other way around. Does this firm provide training? Allow working from home? What is the work-life balance philosophy here, etc.? Are the types of questions popping up in interviews which we have never had to contemplate before. We know that 80% of the staff account for 20% of the results, and in the past, we had some freedom of having the worst performers move on. Given the hot market for candidates, this is still a viable option to have them depart willingly, except what do you do about finding a replacement? I heard a Japanese HR executive working for a foreign multinational making some macho remarks about moving out underperformers the other day. And I was quietly thinking, is that really a sustainable policy given where we are headed? What fantasy world is this guy living in? Find out more when we come back from the break. Today's show is brought to you by our public courses, but we also are doing custom in-house programs. We do these in both Japanese and English. We do them face-to-face in our super safe classroom, and we do them live online. Okay, our show today is being brought to you by, on the 6th of July, our High Impact Presentations program. Main modules completed over 2 consecutive days, 2 instructors, everything videoed, phenomenal feedback, excellent coaching, one-on-one, right the way through. This is transformational. You come in one end, you go out the other end, totally changed, totally improved. On the 13th of July, we'll be doing a Dale Carnegie course, stress management, leadership, communication skills, people skills, plus we work on how to come out of your comfort zone and challenge yourself to go higher, faster, further in your career and business. Go to our website at www.dale, D-A-L-E, Carnegie, CARNEGIE.co.jp. Get my best-selling books, Japan Sales Mastery, which in Japanese is Zaegyo. This is the Bible for selling in Japan. Japan Business Mastery, Japan Presentations Mastery, plus Stop Wasting Money on Training, which in Japanese is Training de Okane o Muru ni Sunu wa Yamimashou, and all are available on Amazon. If you like learning by watching videos, we have nearly 2,000 there for you at Tokyo, Japan, Dale Carnegie TV on YouTube. We release 3 TV shows every week on YouTube. The Cutting Edge Japan Business Show, that's the premier business show on Japan every Monday, Tokyo time. Fridays, we have the Japan Business Mastery Show, and on Saturdays, we release Japan's top business interviews, where I interview leaders from small, medium enterprises all the way up to the corporate captains of industry on one topic, leading in Japan. Every second Thursday, we release the Business Pro Television Show. You can email me at greg.story@dalecarnegie.com. Welcome back. The future for leaders is going to be how to lead seriously underperforming staff. We've all grown up in a buyer's market. We are now in a seller's market. We were raised on tough love and no excuses for underperformance, but if we apply this regimen, we won't have enough staff to run the organization. Suddenly, empathy has become a clear market differentiator for leaders between those who will keep staff and those who will see them tramp out the door to the competitors. What empathy did we experience on the way up through the ranks? Not much that I can remember. So how do we tap into this mysterious well of goodness and bonhomme? Our staff are also getting older. And it seems to me there is definitely an increase in sick leave requests. I don't know whether the pressure of modern business is causing more stress than before, and therefore sick leave applications are increasing, or is it because they're getting older? Time off has to be respected for illness. And we can't be beating the drum to ramming speed on the oars of the slave galley just because we can. Bosses need a lot more patience with and empathy for the team and more tolerance for the days of productive work which are increasingly being lost. They are definitely being lost, but the targets are not coming down to compensate. We are finding ourselves in a vice. We're being crushed by targets and the pressure to produce on the one side, and a staffing situation on the other, where if you push too hard, you won't have enough people left to run the ship. Despite our own harsh upbringing in business, we have to strike out in a new direction where communication, people skills, empathy, and coming out of your comfort zone are the aces in the pack for leaders. Thank you for joining the Leadership Japan series. If you found the program useful, then tell your family, friends, and colleagues. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast. You can contact me at greg.story@dalecarnegie.com. Our website is www.dale-carnegie.co.jp. Until the next episode, take what you thought valuable, put it into action, because idea application is what makes winners winners. So be one of them. Remember, I'm in your corner, committed to your success here in Nippon.